Outsourcing your real estate photo and video editing is one of the best things you can do for your business if you do it right. And if you do it wrong, it can completely mess up your business. And that's why you'll hear a lot of people say that they don't like to outsource. So on this video, I want to help you not do that. I don't want you to mess up your business by outsourcing. I want you to unlock your business and get all of the benefits that outsourcing your photo and video edits can do for you. And so in this video, we're gonna go through 5 things that I highly encourage you to not make, mistakes I encourage you to not make that will make this process so much more successful for you. So diving in with number 1, one of the biggest mistakes, and I know this sounds basic, but stay with me here, is overshooting. And you're maybe like, well, how does that have anything to do with editing? Well, what happens when you go to a real estate photo shoot that was supposed to be 40 photos and you end up shooting 60 is one of 2 things. Number 1, you have to go home and you have to delete a bunch of photos so that you don't overspend on editing. And not only did it take more time to shoot those photos while you're at the property, you then have to cull when you get home. And that's why you see these real estate photographers that are up till 9 or 10 every night. Silly, it doesn't have to be done, but I understand why I used to do it. Nothing against you, just don't do that. So dial in the process. If you don't, that's what happens. Or number 2, and you see this a lot too, you don't want to do that. You don't want to spend the extra time. So you're just like, I'll send the 60 photos. And then you pay, a third more for editing, which reduces your bottom line and makes less profit. And we all know profit is the sign of a healthy business and obviously the reason we started the business. And so definitely dial down and get specific about how many photos you're taking at each shoot. And I know what you're probably thinking. You're like, Eli, if I take only 40 photos, I get out of there faster. And it takes less time to cull because I don't have to. And I can upload faster because there's less photos. But what if an agent has, an angle that they wanted that I missed? That will absolutely happen. It'll happen like 5% of the time. But that time where you have to go reshoot, it doesn't nearly equal the time you waste on every shoot trying to prevent it. And the even bigger secret is it doesn't prevent it. Even if you shoot 80 photos, there's still going to be the angle you miss that they want occasionally. So it doesn't really save you any time. You just think you're preventing something in your business that you're not actually preventing. Take it from someone who did that for years. I literally can't, it makes me sick to think about how much time I spent culling, overspending on editing, like literally tens of thousands of dollars overspending on editing, especially when I scaled my team, and so many hours of my life that I'm never going to get back and of the lives of my team. That's not cool. So get in the habit of not overshooting, especially if you're first starting. This video is more for an advanced real estate photographer. So I'm doing, 5, 10, 15, 25, 50, even K a month. You can learn a lot about what you should do now by learning what the mistakes that people are at that level do. So it's number 1, don't overshoot and overpay. Number 2, you got to simplify your workflow. So here's a really common one. Most people kind of ditched a flash today. That's like an old way of shooting real estate. So I don't have to talk about that as much. But when they hear me say, hey, I shoot 3 brackets, an underexposed, a middle exposed, and an overexposed photo, they're like, well, 5 must be better. Funny story on this. So obviously 5, if it was better, we would do it. But it takes longer to shoot on site because your camera literally has to take 40% more photos. It takes longer to copy from your SD card to your computer, and then it takes longer to upload from your computer to your editor, and then it takes longer for your editor to download them. It's a whole nightmare, right? So here's the story. It was one of our clients actually. They had an editor and they used to do 5 bracket, and their editor was really nice and was like, hey, by the way, like I know you send 5 photos, but I only use 3. They only use the 3 brackets. So it doesn't even help. The whole point here is think about your workflow, make it simple. The more you can take away from your workflow, the more time you can spend on stuff that actually matters in your business. I promise you, the way you do your editing, the way you do your shooting is not what's holding your business together. You think that focusing on it and just because you do it, that's why you've grown. That's probably not why you've grown. I think you could grow more by reducing your workflow. Okay, number 3, when it comes to actually editing, this is like the first tip around the actual editor and outsourcing your photos. There's kind of 2 sides to this. So you need to find a good editor. And here's what that means. A lot of people don't spend the time to find a good editor at the start. They don't test a lot. And so what either happens is they find somebody, they don't like them and they give up, or they accept bad quality, which is not good. Or they're like way too critical of their editor. And so they scrutinize everybody and they can't find anyone. You don't want to be either of those. You want to find the right editor and not give up too soon. So take all of that into account. If you figure out that you're really picky and you've tested 10 editors and none of them work for you, like when you point the problem at the editor, there's that saying like there's 4 fingers or 3 pointed back at you. That's the problem. If you've tested 10 editors and none meet your standards, I promise you, your standards are keeping you poorer than you should be. And I say that like in kind of an inflammatory way on purpose because like I wish someone told me that. My standards are irrelevant. They're not what's allowed me to grow my business. Actually, they hold me back more than they help a lot of times. So if you've tested 10 editors and you can't find one, it's you. If you've only tested 1 editor it's also you. Like, test more editors, don't be lazy. So that's tip number 3. All right, number 4, you should not do anything prior to sending your photos or video clips to your editor. So if you're doing a lot of culling and deleting photos like we talked about earlier, cut that out. Only shoot the amount of photos you need. If you are changing image types or compressing, figure out a way to cut that out. You shouldn't be doing that every shoot. If you're pre-editing photos before you send them to your editor, I know it sounds crazy, but I hear so many people doing it. They adjust the white balance. Don't do that. Your editor can do that for you. If you touch your photos at all, you're wasting time. The way I know that is because we used to do that and now we don't. So at Norman & Young, our photographers, they shoot, they leave with what they're going to deliver on site. They get home and they drag and drop the photos from the SD card directly to upload to their editor. There's no workflow tasks in between. You should be spending 0 time on your photos when you get home. I said this earlier, I think, but you'll see a lot of real estate photographers that are like, oh, I'm working 12 hours a day. It's like, what are you doing? And they're like, well, I get home at 5 and from 5 to 11, I'm sorting, uploading, culling, whatever their photos. Like, you don't need to do that. Reduce the amount of steps. I promise it won't kill your business. It'll make it better. If you're new, you're probably like, of course it won't kill my business. Remember that when your business grows and you think the only thing holding your business together is your workflow. Again, like I say all this kind of in an inflammatory way on purpose because I wish someone would have got me thinking because I just wasted so much time. Okay, last one. That's 6. It's number 5. Number 5 is you should be outsourcing absolutely everything. So I talked about photos a lot. What I did wrong in my business, I did a lot of dumb stuff. This isn't among that huge pile, is I would spend, I'd agree with and spend a lot of time finding a good photo editor. I'd outsource my photo editing. I'd make that efficient. When we were doing $50,000 per month at Norman & Young, I was editing all of our videos. We had a team and I quote unquote couldn't find someone that edited videos the way I wanted. Well, you know what I did? I tried 2 editors and none of them worked and I gave up. And I thought, oh, I'll just have to do that. And that's really stupid. Like I look back, I'm like, what on earth was I doing? Turns out I made the mistake I talked about earlier and I just gave up after testing too few editors. We're able to find an awesome editor. So it's totally possible. And you just have to be willing to commit to do that. I think the biggest thing that holds people back is just they don't make the decisions or they don't do the things they need to get forward. And you're saying, duh, but it's like, it's oftentimes not as apparent. And so I can just promise you one of those things you're doing wrong if you currently edit anything is you're editing that. From day one, I recommend outsourcing everything. There's no point in your real estate photography business where you should be editing photos, videos, or anything like that. It's a complete waste of time to learn it. The time you spent learning it, you could be spending doing other things. If you've already learned it, doing it is a complete waste of time because you could spend that time on growing your business. So just learn from me. I made all the mistakes you can possibly make, I feel like, and that's how I learned what I'm doing. And the problem with that is it takes forever. When you learn through your own mistakes, it's the silliest way to learn. And I know everybody says that, like it's better to learn from the mistakes of others than yourself. And then we do the exact opposite in practice, right? Like we're so willing to be like, oh no, like I understand that, but like that's not the case here. Or like, oh, my business is different. Or, oh, my clients won't like that. Or, oh, I can't afford that. Our margins don't work. Like all of that is because you just don't know what you don't know. And there's some piece of it that will allow it to work. And the truth is you'll figure out and you'll probably at some point, a lot of people don't scale their business. So they get stuck at 15K or 12K or 20K and they'll never agree with me. But that's because they haven't got their business to 50K. There's nobody that does 50K plus that's editing their own stuff, especially in volume real estate. If you're doing other stuff, sure, if you're doing architectural really high end, you edit yourself, but those people work 12 hours a day and that's not my goal, right? I think it's very important. And one of the things that leads to these mistakes that I said is all of us, I think, when we start our businesses, we start our businesses for one of 2 reasons or a combo of both. 1, to make more money, and 2, to have more freedom. Those are our things that are guiding us at the start, which I think is good. But then what you see happen is the longer you're in the business, the more you forget about those 2 things and you start focusing on your clients. And you start saying like, what would they want? What do they want? And not only are you wrong about what they want, but it's irrelevant, right? You started this business for you. You didn't start this business just for the clients. Now, in order to do it well for you, you have to serve the clients well. And that's where the mistakes are made, is you think that you're serving the clients well by doing something, but you're not actually. You're sort of tricking yourself into it. So I hope that helps. This is one part of your business. We're talking about photo editing. Analyze all of your business. There's so much that if you improve it can immediately make your business better. Low-hanging fruit, you're just blind to it unless you take a second to try to step back and be like, what can I fix in my business? So if you want our help identifying that, there's a link below where you can talk with my team. Obviously, we do coaching where we handheld you through the process, but that doesn't mean you have to do coaching to get our help. Like we'd love to talk with you and kind of give you a roadmap for your business. So you can find that link below. And I've got a great team. Like we built Norman & Young, and now we get to build REPP, which is an awesome trade school like business where we help real estate photo businesses launch and get better, scale. If you're at 20K and you want to get to 50, there's some things you're going to have to change that probably aren't apparent. So we'd love to kind of show you and compress the time it took us. Because again, it took me like years to figure this out. And if you can figure it out faster, that's better. We can show you that. Hop on a call with us, spend 45 minutes or an hour chatting with my team. We'd love to help.